Good morning. Today I have 3 objectives to meet, mostly. Number 1, it is the 15th of December, kind of 2 Sundays after I completed my first ever stand chart full marathon. In fact, it's my first full marathon ever. I'm gonna go on a approximately 2 hours long slow distance run at about my zone 2 in the most latest updated heart rate ranges. For me, it's gonna hover around 147 beats. Second on the objective line, I thought it's apt to wear the stand chart singlet and do a bit of a reflection on the go, wearing a almost similar kit, the vest with 2 bags of water. Lastly, since I've been taking up running, I haven't actually really meet out my cycling clique much. So today, I'm just gonna take this opportunity to run all the way from my place at Marsiling area in the north, quite near to the immigration, all the way to Bukit Panjang area, Junction 10. First thing first, I thought what really stood out to me, myself, as I ran the full marathon was that I think for a given event hosted here in Singapore, a very tropical and hot, humid, they do have enough water point, where in contrast, when I started the run, my initial plan was to kind of have my initial water supply, as well as have water supply myself for redundancies. But now that I think back, in hindsight, you know, having to run with close to 1.5 kilo load on me, I guess didn't quite help the fact that the route had some inclination plan. There were 2 of it. One I think was up Benjamin Sheares Bridge, and another treacherous one towards the end, between 32 to 35k mark, was the West Coast flyover. I thought, you know, the added weight, and by the mere fact that, in fact, when I finished the event, I didn't even finish the 2 pack of water that I started with, the 2 500 ml, one filled with electrolytes, another with honey water. Towards the end, I was kind of just hoping to finish it. I didn't quite think about water on me anymore, and added by the fact that, you know, water supply was kind of in abundance throughout the route anyway. At approximately every 3 km mark, I think, there's a water point, so they provide the clear water, electrolytes in the form of 100 plus. So I think that's one thing I'll keep in mind going into next event. Second reflection of my first full marathon was, in my opinion, I hear this a lot. They say run slow to run fast. Sorry. No worries. I got interrupted. That would have been me if I hadn't chose to run by myself along rail corridor. Yep. On the point about second reflection was they say run slow to run fast. So I think in my training block, building up to the stand chart, I didn't quite build in tempos or threshold runs within my long slow distance. I think that's really, I thought, my make or break moment. Since come closer to the 35k mark onwards, I was kind of just dragging my way to the end point. Since that distance, it's round about the distance that I clocked the furthest on feet. My long slow distance build up wise, you know, from there onwards, my body was kind of in the land of unknown. So I think with the next event, for any in mind, is to still incorporate a little bit of tempo sessions within the long session runs, so that at least the body is used to, you know, running at that effort at a fatigue that's built within the body already.
You feel like summer days to me, warm tender sunny rays. I hope that we are meant to be. You say nothing at all when we meet, yet somehow I know your history.
Third thing on my list I wanted to touch on was about equipment. Although I must preface by saying I'm not a big fan about talking about equipment. I'm all about the experience, training my personal take, training my personal fitness and stuff. But on the note about running shoes that I picked up for my marathon, the shoes of choice, I went with a X-Step 160, which comes with a full carbon plate. But in contrast to my plan to run the marathon, my pace-wise, I thought that, the fact that I chose to run pretty conservatively because it was my first full marathon, my aim was really to complete it. I went at about zone 2, as you can probably tell. The fact that I could hold on to an action camera and vlog along the way and chit-chat with you. At that slow pace, I thought the carbon plate kind of did not do justice for me. Since, in my opinion, you gotta put in the effort to allow the shoes, in terms of the plate, to kind of work for you instead of work against you. So I think the obvious thing that stood out was the fact that at about 32 km mark, just before the first inclination came about, I felt this tingling sensation around my feet. I thought that was the carbon plate doing its thing. The fact that I was running slow and mellow and everything. So I think the stiffness of it didn't help. So maybe for next run, based on the pace and the effort I wish to put in terms of marathon pace, should be reflected in the choice of shoes. So if I had to go out and run at the same pace again for a marathon, but definitely find one that's comfortable, max cushion, all that stuff, to properly reflect the effort that I wanted to put in.
Our thoughts and some dust of dreams, and we seem to find common ground. Guess everyone's got their own sound. Never cared much about fitting in, what's right or a sin. But as you stand before me, I give in. Picture frames, lavender and pain, they all live here within this room.
The last time around I came here, this gate used to be open, but I guess I'm now gonna run down the park connector instead. A toilet at 9k mark. Huh? No harm, I guess. Using a toilet kind of reminded me that, some context wise, I chose Pen D based on the recommended finishing time. I think it was 4.5 hours or so. So with regards to the cut-off time, I thought, and in terms of the morning sun, if you are one who kind of hope to run without the heat, if you think about it, the earlier you start, then the earlier you finish, regardless of your expected run times in terms of a full marathon. So I think some of my friends chose Pen B, even though his stipulated finish time wasn't sub 4 hours. But if you think about it, the start time for Pen B was to be at 4:40, just 10 minutes behind the Pen A and Elite Pen. But in contrast, where I started at Pen D, it was about closer to 5 PM. So if you was a 5-hour runner, then it takes approximately 10 AM for you to finish. So I think at 9 AM to 10 was where the sun kind of came up and slaughtered us all at West Coast Highway. Well, if I had been able to go through that gate earlier, I would have joined back the same park connector anyway, using that bridge. But I think this massive construction is probably why that gate is closed. Safety reasons. That, my friend, is Junction 10. I'm about 10 minutes to 7:30, so I should reach with ample time to meet up with the gang while they start off to ride on their bike before I have to make a loop around. This is after all my halfway point, about 10 km. My watch reads 1 hour and 13 minutes. Pretty comfortable. although my heart rate did spike quite a bit having to chat with you. Right as we speak, my heart rate is 158. So maybe that's a sign that my aerobic base isn't quite established enough. Morning!
Eh, wrong attire.
Wrong attire.
Power Ranger. Wrong attire, wrong year.
Morning, morning.
Summer's just begun. I'm still looking for you.
Good morning. Well, truth be told, I have never walked on my long sessions ever in terms of long slow distances, but there is this aching sensation that's behind my right knee. Not so sure what is that, but it could be contributed by the reason that I did indeed have a strain on my right kind of inner thigh towards the knee area, so it's gonna not push it too hard. It is after all a reflection run. I thought this brought about one more reflection on the Standard Chartered marathon that I had. Is the fact that I didn't quite incorporate much strength training, gym session per se. So maybe this is a telltale sign that my muscular skeletal structure, they aren't quite conditioned enough to maybe support me in what I want to do, what I set out to do in terms of long distance running. So maybe it is about time that I incorporate some strength training within my weekly run sessions. I think from about April to June, I did 2 or 3 months worth of running, which built up to a Buff Forest run in August. And thereafter, I kind of transit to cycling training instead, because I had the fundraising ride that I did in October. Then immediately after that, I came back to running, and I thought I did quite well myself with only about 1 month of ramp up training between the early November till Standard Chartered, which was 1st of December. I thought I did okay. The fact that I didn't walk a single beat for the entirety of the 42 km. So, but yeah, probably all this running is taking a toll on my legs. Back at the Kranji MRT area, I finished essentially the rail corridor segment. I thought this walking portion that I did as part of my long slow distance run, I thought was quite apt. The fact that in any sports that I picked up in recent years as I approach my 30s, is I always want to ensure the longevity of it, both myself physically, mentally, by the fact that no matter if I wanted to pick up all these adventurous activities revolving around my hobbies, I don't want to go away with a long-term injury, because honestly, that's not what anyone would want when picking up any sporting event. So I'm just gonna take this opportunity right here to kind of remind myself to take care of myself, not entirely destroy myself, all in the name of sporting.
See what the city smells like now. Still feel the wind. The night we were dancing out of time. Running with the night like Hearts burning for the first time. Reality is closer, but we're not getting older. Johnny Tim Picasso paints you and me in yellow, and now will soon be over. We're soldiers and we're higher, higher. We're higher, higher. We're higher, higher.
22 km done. Not gonna lie, in the past half a year, this is by far, I think, the most painful long slow distance run. The aching in my rear of my right knee came about at about 15 or 16 k mark, and then thereabout I did a jog walk combo in order to get here back home. But nonetheless, workout is done, and kind of did a half marathon, trying to reflect about my first marathon done. I would say that's a job well done. So hopefully I come back stronger. Thanks for sticking around. I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.